There's been this trend that's been going viral on the internet recently, and it's where people have been attempting to raw dog flights. And if you're not as chronically online as I am, then you'd have no idea what that means. And I promise you, it's not what it sounds like. So this trend is where people have been challenging themselves to go on long haul flights without any entertainment or any distractions. This means they're not allowed to use their phone, they're not allowed to use the screen that's provided on long haul flights. And I'm pretty sure that you're not even allowed to sleep, so you're pretty much doing nothing apart from just sitting there and just staring at the wall or just staring at the flight map. People have been trying to set new records, so pretty much if you've been on like a 9-hour flight and you raw dogged the whole flight, then that's a new record. The thing is, I don't know if the trend is legit and if the people are actually doing what they're saying they're doing, but if it's the truth, then fair enough, because that's quite crazy that you're able to do that. The reason I'm even making this video is because before this was even a trend, I was actually a professional raw dogger. Wait, you know what I mean? Not like that, boys. Get your mind out of the gutter. Not like that. What I'm trying to say is I used to raw dog flights all the time, but not to the extent that these guys are doing. For some reason, I just can't sleep on flights, so I just catch myself just doing nothing and just like staring at things. I seriously struggle to fall asleep on flights, and I'm so envious of the people that can just fall asleep immediately. I don't know why I can't, but I just can't, so that's one of the activities crossed off. When it comes to watching movies on a flight, for some reason back in the day, I just hated the idea of it, and I just could not get myself to watch any movies. I had tried many times, but after a few minutes, I'd always just give up, and I'll just go back to just staring at the wall or just doing something else. On most flights, I just have my earphones plugged in and I just listen to music. But even with that, for some reason, I just get really bored of music really quick. Just something about flights, I just can't get myself to do anything, so most of my flights, I just end up staring at the wall. I'm not even exaggerating here, but there have definitely been flights where I've just stared at the same spot on the same wall for hours. I just completely zone out and I'm just in my head. I'm just thinking about random things, or I'm just like daydreaming, and it's almost like I'm on autopilot. When I have those moments on the flight, it feels like I'm not even thinking and I'm just like in a completely different dimension. But as I said, I kind of weirdly enjoy it. It's almost therapeutic for me. I really like the fact how we're forced to be off the internet for a long period of time, because in my day-to-day life, I definitely don't have moments where I'm just not on the internet. I guess like apart from showering, the rest of the day I'm on the internet in some way. You know, I'm either on my phone, I'm on my computer, or just like even if I'm like on a walk, I still have my phone with me. So not having the ability to do that on a flight actually really excites me. It's almost like a dopamine detox, which is definitely necessary for people like us who are just always using technology, especially in the world that we're living in now that's been taken over by technology. It's really cool to get like 0 notifications for like a long period of time. Who am I kidding? I'm used to that. That shit happens to me every day anyways. But for real though, being disconnected from the rest of the world is just like a really cool feeling, and that's the one good thing about a flight, I guess. Like, don't get me wrong, when I say all this, it makes it sound like I really like flights. I really don't. If I had the option to get from point A to point B by just teleporting or just, you know, anything but a flight, I will choose that option. But being disconnected from the rest of the world and the internet, I guess it's just like a good thing in a bad situation. And also, if I could just fall asleep on flights easily, then I would definitely choose that option, and everything that I just said about being disconnected from the internet goes all out the window. I could care less about all that if I was just able to sleep on flights. Talking about sleeping on flights, if I get the whole row to myself, then I can sleep like a baby. There was this one time where I got the whole row to myself and I slept for like 9 hours straight. But just something about being on a flight and having to sit up straight and trying to sleep, I just can't do it. And it's weird because it's only for flights. Whenever I'm on a bus, I can easily fall asleep, or if I'm in a car, I can easily fall asleep. But just something about a flight, it could be the air, it could just be like the layout, maybe the restricted space, I don't know, just something about it, I just cannot get myself to sleep. Also, the concept of flights are just weird. It's almost like you're in a bubble that's just completely separated from the rest of the world, which in a way I guess you technically are, because you're just like in a tin box in the air. But the reason I say this is because every time I step off a flight, it's almost like I forgot everything that even happened in the flight. Well, I'm definitely exaggerating there. Like, obviously I know what happened on the flight, but like nothing of importance ever happens on flights. There are no great moments that happen on a flight that you're gonna remember for the rest of your life. It's simply just a tool that transports you from point A to point B. So I guess it is kind of understandable why I kind of go into that autopilot mode when I'm on the flight. It's also like a weird feeling when you get off the flight, because like half an hour later, I just kind of feel like I was never even on that flight in the first place. Well, anyways, I think this is the perfect time for me to tell you my worst ever flight experience. So this happened at the end of 2021, where me and my friend were flying back from the UK to Thailand because of the Christmas break at our universities. Pretty much I met up at his house with the plan that we were gonna fall asleep early that night so we could catch our early flight tomorrow. That obviously didn't go to plan, or there would not be a story here today. One of our friends in the same city decided to invite us to his house because it's our last day in the city and he just wanted to see us one last time. That makes it sound like we were gonna die or something. He was gonna see us like a couple days later, but I don't know, I guess he just wanted to say like a farewell. Well, anyways, our dumbasses decided it was gonna be a great idea to go, and we ended up doing that. We reached his house and there was many people there, so we kind of just lost track of time because we were just talking to everyone. And I hadn't seen these guys in a very long time, so the conversation was flowing for hours. And eventually my friend that was also going on the same flight as me started panicking because it was almost like 4 or 5 a.m. and we were still at his house. house. I think we had to leave to the airport by 6:30 or something like that, so we quickly went back to his house and we had no sleep at all that night. We quickly got ready and we made our way to the airport and we eventually got to the flight. As I said, we had no sleep at all, and this flight was super loud because it was super packed and it was in the daytime. So people were talking at like extreme volumes, or it could have just been that we had no sleep and we were at that state where all our emotions are like heightened. You know when you just haven't like slept for a very long time, you just find everything annoying. That definitely could have been the case here because I was so annoyed at the loud people, but I just tried to go to sleep. But again, I was struggling a lot to fall asleep while my friend was just completely knocked out. Fortunately though, after a few hours, I finally fell asleep. But like 20 minutes later, I got woken up by the flight attendant because our food was ready and it was lunchtime or breakfast or whatever it was. And you know, I'm definitely not blaming her. She was just doing her job. She just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss my food. But I was so pissed when I got woken up. I obviously didn't show it to her. I was just like, thank you for the food, but I was so angry. It was to the point where I just wanted to pick up the closest baby to me and just fucking boot that motherfucker like 500 yards. I'm obviously joking, by the way. There were no babies that were harmed during this video. Well, anyways, I pretty much couldn't fall asleep for the rest of the flight, and by the time I got off, it was probably the most exhausted I've ever been in my life in general. That shit had me so tired, and I guess it's very understandable. I probably hadn't slept for like over 30 hours at that point, so yeah, I was going crazy, man. I also think that flight was my personal best when it comes to raw dogging flights. I'm like pretty sure that I didn't really listen to any music, and I definitely know I didn't watch any movies, which makes my personal best about 13 hours. Yeah, that flight was 13 hours, but it felt like 58 days. At that time, I probably would have done anything to get off that flight. Also, back in the day, I don't know why I just randomly remembered this, but I did. I used to love watching other people's screens. As I said, I never watched movies myself, but because I sit in the aisle seat, I can see other rows and I can see the screens and I can see what they're watching. And for some reason, I'll just get like so locked in and like so focused. Oh, I just made the wrong type of fences, man. I need oak fences. What am I doing? That's a rookie blunder right there by me. I actually need to go get more oak wood. I am a brokey right now. As I was saying, I used to love looking at other people's screens and I'll get so locked into the movie that they are watching. There have been many times where they pause the movie or they just stop the movie because they want to go to sleep, and I'll just get super annoyed because I was so like into the movie and I really wanted to watch it. But for some reason, I would just never watch it on my own screen. I don't know why. I was just a weirdo, bro. And don't forget about the fact that I couldn't hear the movie. I was just staring at their screen. No sound, nothing. I couldn't even read the subtitles because the screen was so far away. But I guess because there's not much going on flights, just like seeing anything move on the screen got me like super excited, and it would catch my attention so easily. It's just quite funny when I think back on it. As I get older, I've realized that I've been using the screen a lot more. Like for example, on one of my recent flights, the screen that I was provided had video games on it. So I remember playing this baseball game and I genuinely played it for hours. The game even had like a leaderboard system, and I'm guessing this was like with just the other people on the flights. Artun took the top 5 positions, meaning that I had 5 different games where my score was high enough to be the top of the leaderboard. It just shows that I used that screen a lot that day. Oh my god, I almost died again, bro. That would have been crazy. Also on the same flight, I think I was playing Angry Birds and I finished every single level. Like, I vividly remember doing that. I think I even took a photo on my phone of it. I don't know why I'm saying it so proudly. It's actually quite embarrassing when I say it out loud. I'm a grown-ass man sitting there on the flight playing fucking Angry Birds. I see other people my age like reading a book or doing something productive, and I'm there fucking playing Angry Birds. Hey, but all I can say to that is don't diss it till you try it, man. Angry Birds on a flight hits different. Also on another recent flight, I watched the whole trilogy of Cars. I watched Cars 1, 2, and 3 in a row. This is also another embarrassing thing that I'm about to share, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but Cars is genuinely my favorite movie. Cars 1 in specific, and this has been my favorite movie for years, like since I was like 2 years old or whatever. I think the movie came out in 2005 or 2008, just something quite early on. I'm not just like a trend follower here. I know Cars has had like a huge blow up in recent years, but I used to watch it since day one, like genuinely my day one. I used to watch that movie. I'm not even exaggerating. My parents told me that there were times where I used to watch it almost every single day, and the movie has like a big place in my heart, so I've decided that every single year when I watch it at least once, it's almost like an annual event for me. The thing is though, I watched the movie so many times that I remember almost every single line and I remember every single scene. There was this one time last year, so this was second year of university. I was in the kitchen with my flatmate and my flatmate said, you know what, you want to watch Cars? And I said, why not? So we were just sitting there watching the movie, and without even thinking, I was saying what the next line was gonna be in the movie, and my friend was actually just impressed. I thought he would judge me and call me like childish, but he genuinely was impressed how I could remember all that. Again, this is so embarrassing and I don't know why I'm sharing it, but I guess it's important for you guys to get to know me better. I mean, watching those movies on the flight definitely helped because that flight did not feel long at all. Oh my god, wait, mending. Wait, that's huge, right? I actually think that's like massive. Let's go, bro. Let's fucking go. Mending is huge. And now we have like an unbreakable fishing rod. The next thing I'm gonna do is try and make a god fishing rod. That would be so helpful. So as I was saying, watching those movies definitely helped because the flight felt really short, just because I was having such a good time. And I also think I watched a Fast and Furious movie there as well. And that's just like another franchise of movies I absolutely love. But I'm only talking about the early movies where Paul Walker was still in there. RIP, my guy. The later movies I don't enjoy at all, but the early ones, they were so good, man. Holy shit. That guy hurts like a motherfucker. I'm just gonna go to sleep, man. You do you. Also, there's another part of the story when it comes to me watching cars on the plane. I was sitting next to probably one of the best looking women I've ever seen in my life. I don't know if I just had the airport goggles on, but it had to be off because I was already on the flight. But the people that don't know, the airport goggles are when you see someone your age at the airport, for some reason they just look 10 times better than they would if you just saw them on the street. So I don't know if that's what was going through my head, but trust me when I say that she was gorgeous, man. And instead of talking to her, I had like a perfect 8-hour opportunity to just look at her and just say anything. She was literally sitting right next to me. She was sitting in the middle seat, I was sitting in the aisle seat. She even tried to start conversations here and there, but because I'm such a Sigma male, I decided I'm gonna watch cars instead. It just shows how committed I am to the game, and that's how committed you guys should be. Well, I'm obviously joking, I'm just scared of women. It doesn't matter how good looking or how attractive I find someone, I just won't go up to them, and I'm actually gonna make a whole video on that, and that probably will be my next video. But yeah, potentially fumbled my future wife, but it is what it is. I got to watch Cars 1, 2, and 3. That's another fishing rod. Oh, that's okay. That's not that deep. So honestly, it's her loss. I can't even lie. I can't even say that with a straight face. What am I saying? I fumbled the bag, man. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know down in the comments what your personal record of raw dogging a flight is. And if you've never tried, you definitely should for your next flight. And if you ended up enjoying this video, please do leave a like and subscribe. And if you're still watching till now, you're definitely enjoying it. So you might as well click on the video that just popped up. Or don't. It's obviously up to you. Thank you guys for watching and have a great night. Peace.